Greetings and welcome to my channel. My name is Ignatius and let's watch myself play some Dyson Sphere program. Removing my second mouse pointer. I'm both showing and looking at the factory as is. You will notice that the research towers are a lot higher now. In between last episode and this one, I did some research to increase my character, as in movement speed, as in amount of drones, build height, all of that. And in this episode I'm going to build, or rather I'm going to make, silicone. To that end, let's speed this up a little. Silicone, there are two ways. First, mine silicone and turn that into silicone ingots, or second, mine stone, turn that into silicone ore, and then turn that into silicone ingots. As I have no silicone ore on this planet, I am forced, at least currently, to do this second one. And let's speed this up a little bit. As you can see, I've placed the first miners. There is another stone ore deposit right next to it. And the thing is, I need a lot of stone in order to make relatively small amounts of silicone. And here I am starting by building the conveyor belt that's going to hold the silicone. Let me speed this up even more, maybe even more. No sound anymore, okay. Yes, now I'm looking at where to build exactly the conveyor. Okay. And that's going to be the connector, the connect point for the conveyor. Yes, that doesn't really work, but this does. Wonderful. As you can see, many construction drones, and they all, I believe, make two construction tasks at once. Okay, first thing, I decided to just store the stone into these containers, and from there I'm going to use it further. Okay, all that's lacking is a little bit of power. Okay, and okay, the first stone is being mined and stored. To be used later on when it is time. Now I will need to do the same with the other stone deposit above there. Over there. Let's speed this up a little bit, because it is the same as before. Yes, I was rotating and looking for places where they can mine several deposits at once. Okay, and the power, and now the conveyors. Wonderful. That's both of the deposits being mined, and now I need some of the ground stuff. Some of that, grey stuff I placed on the ground. Foundation, sorry. At first I thought, nah, let's do it with smaller one square stuff, but then I thought to myself, let's do this right. Let's make a real foundation. A foundation for men, so to speak. And at the same time, let's make it at least halfway symmetric, at least until all the foundations run out. And this is where I'm going to make the silicone in 2 phases. First I'm going to smelt stone into silicon ore, and then I'm going to smelt that silicon ore into high purity silicon ingots, I believe. And here I'm going to use a technique I've been using for some time. That is the technique of having several intake belts. Up there I did count, and so that I can place the third belt, that the third belt will fit. Exactly so, as you can see. Let's speed this up a little. This is the biggest advantage of commenting the videos of my gameplay. These things that are just, these episodes that are just waiting, can be quickened. Also, this way, as I mentioned before, I can comment on focusing instead of playing. Here I was deciding which way to point the silicon ore conveyor. This way or the other really doesn't matter. I wanted to point it the other way because I deemed it more elegant. Let's speed this up a little. You will also notice, first of course if you play the game yourself and have done this yourself, and or just later because I noticed it, well, I would have needed about 3 times this amount of silicon ore smelters to get any real silicon production going, because it is enormously expensive to make silicon ore. I mean, it's fantastic that it is possible, but enormously expensive. You need, I think, at least 5 stones to make 1 silicon. That makes it enormously expensive. And I did it this way to have room for power poles to be placed in between the 2 conveyors, the one I just built and building, and the one I built previous. Okay. Now I'm setting up the silicon smelting. As you can see, the first ores are arriving. Ah yes, I wanted to have the ability to store the silicon just in case it kind of overfills, which, well, you will see. But of course, what I can do later on, because of course I'm going to research the ability. I'm going to research drones, and I can have drones bring in silicon ore into this conveyor up there, into this container up there, and use the existing silicon ore, silicon ingot smelting capability. Yes, I was running low on all of this. And now comes the shift click. And I really like this. Makes it so much easier. And I was laughing at exactly this point in time, because the placement was so perfect. I really liked it. Of course I need to have all of this built, and then add the power. Let's speed this up a little bit. Exactly, I place the power pole at every second smelter. And now silicone smelting is going for real. I ran out of smelters, I believe. Let's speed this up a little. Now I was just looking at how everything was going, and I noticed, holy moly, only about the first 3 or so are smelting at all. Then I remembered from earlier game playthroughs, well, that's how this is. At this point I wanted to go and gather another smelter to copy it down there, but then I thought that's not necessary. I saw it this way. Let's remove a couple of and just place one at the bottom to catch any ore that may make through it. Though with 4 I don't think so. As of course also it takes, I think, 2 or 3 silicon ore to make one high purity silicon ingot. I did place a container to store the silicon just in case of overproduction, knowing I will probably never need this, but better to have it than to need it. Wonderful. That is silicon smelting, and I now have silicon in the system. At this point I was walking back to check on all the smelters. As you can see, the 3 intakes are working perfectly well. Yep, and at that time I was just walking around a little bit, watching, checking, but that is essentially it. Until the next episode, thank you for watching, like, subscribe, you know the drill if you so choose, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.